Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Tuesday, December 12th. If it's your first time watching, remember to like and subscribe. Before we dive into the Miami Dolphins, the hit list, I'm going to welcome our co-host to the show for our fifth live show. The guy who looks like the guy from Superbad, Seth Rogen. The guy who we don't know if he's 8 or if he's 40 years old. The guy knows all the stats, the tricks, the main event, guys. Welcome back to the show, guys. Brent Chapman.
Thank you, Brandon, for having me. We're going to have a fun show. We got a lot of great sports to talk about today.
Listen, every time I say this, it's so funny. You look like Seth Rogen. I just think you need to grow the hair and grow the curls, man. I'm being serious. You would come on here and look just like Superbad, bro.
I thought yesterday you said I looked like McLovin. Now I look like Seth Rogen. Now, I will say this. I have been told, people that have heard my radio appearances, that I sound a little bit like Seth Rogen because I got the gravelly voice a little bit, but never been told that I look like him. I think I need about an extra 100 pounds.
Well, I mean, look, you shaved the pounds off for sure, but I mean, throw some beef on you, all right? Let's talk about it. Let's go. So listen. We're going to dive in, guys. Are jumping in right now. If it's your first time watching, remember to like and subscribe. Welcome to the Randomation Show. We invited a few people on here to watch as we expand. Brent, the Dolphins, they got upset yesterday. A lot of people were like, look, the Dolphins should blow the Titans out. That's not what happened. I mean, Tua, Tyreek Hill, they did their thing. Tua did his thing, a few injuries on the field. But, I mean, upset by the Titans, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I think, first of all, if you didn't watch this game last night, go watch SportsCenter or whatever and check out the last quarter of this game. This game was fantastic. It was tied 13-13 in the fourth quarter. I stepped away to put my kids to bed, and I came back, and it was 27-13. Basically, in about 3 minutes, Tennessee vomited all over themselves. Derrick Henry dropped a pitch. A guy dropped a punt. Miami scored 2 touchdowns immediately. Then, out of nowhere, Superman Will Levis put on a cape, and in the last 3 minutes of the game, scored 2 touchdowns, including a 2-point conversion. What about the cojones on that, Brandon? To go for that to win the game. It was incredible. It was awesome.
The question really comes down to, I'm going to pull this video up so you guys can see a little bit of a reaction.
They had the ball.
The question really comes down to
2 yards here to keep.
Now, a lot of these teams that we keep thinking are really good keep getting stunned, whether they're upset or getting blown away by good teams as well. But Tua just isn't the same Tua that we've seen in the beginning. I mean, obviously he's got some stats this season. He's played well. He's done his thing, Brent. But, you know, every time I watch him play, a lot of people may disagree. But if I drafted him or the Dolphins drafted him for a few reasons, yeah, he can throw the ball. He had an issue with the deep threat. But the thing is, he needs to be able to use his legs to scramble, make things happen. And after being hit, concussions, being unconscious, this is a big deal for him. I mean, he doesn't really use his legs as much. And people said he didn't run in college. But the thing was, he was elusive. He could make things happen with his legs. And you're seeing him get sacked right here in a position where he probably arguably should get the first down.
Yeah, look, Tua, first of all, if I was Tua's family.
They had the ball.
Right. I mean, he's been hit in the head way too many times for me. But he's playing now, and he's playing well. But this might not be a popular opinion, especially where you're at in Miami. I think he's a system quarterback. I mean, I know lots of people that know him, and he's one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. He's such an awesome guy. But I just think he's a system quarterback, and I think that he's been successcul in that system.
So you think
I don't
he was
think
just in
he's
there
the
just
guy.
to get
He's
into
not
the rotation?
Tom Brady. He's not Pat Mahomes. He's not Aaron. He's not going to put you on your back, and I think you're going to see that. Look, dude, let's be honest. Look at the Dolphins this year. They have only beaten teams with losing records. And they have lost before last night to the Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. They are not I don't think they're what everyone thinks they are. That's all I have to say.
You know what, Brent? Every time I watch the Dolphins, and I live in Miami, I hope that they can play well. I love when Miami teams are winning. That brings the morale of the city. It brings the values up of the city. When LeBron James was here, it was phenomenal. I mean, this is a great thing. But what I want to say is with the Dolphins, this is the problem. Obviously, Tua comes into the Dolphins. They get all these people around him, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. There's a couple injuries, but the defensive line, Wilkins, Jalen Phillips is out. But they even have Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they have so much talent on the Dolphins roster, this is, I believe, honestly, this is a make or break season for the Dolphins, because what can you have more next season than you have this season? I mean, they spent the money. They have everything you can imagine. And I'm going to pull this clip of Tyreek Hill. I know we'll get to his MVP conversation probably tomorrow.
Smythe in motion.
When I watch Tyreek Hill, he is a game changer, right? He's a game changer. He's a guy that everybody wants on your team. When Kansas City let him go, there was questions. They came back and they won, but look now. They're missing a receiver. They're missing a deep threat. And I think that's why the problems that the Kansas City Chiefs are playing so bad this year. But the Dolphins, before we move on, Brent, honestly, the Dolphins right now, it never surprises you. And the fans are becoming more like Steelers fans, where it's, come on, man, it's time to win. We're here
That's
for
right.
you.
And
We're
I
giving you
think,
all the things you need.
Yeah, and I think you're hitting something on the head. Is the one thing Tua is excellent at is distributing and getting the ball in the hands of the weapons, right? And I say that's a system quarterback. It's a great system, but they have a ton of talent. Tyreek Hill is fantastic, right? Raheem Mostert, right, the running back, I think he tied Ricky Williams' touchdown record yesterday. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Ricky Williams was awesome. That's a big deal. Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a super deal. You know, before we move on to the Packers, I'm just going to say the Dolphins, realistically this season, it's kind of like the Cowboys. Here's your chance. You have all the talent you need. Arguably more than the Cowboys have. So let's move on right now, Brent. Packers. I mean, I'm watching Jordan Love, right? I mean, he comes into the program. Obviously, Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers for those years. And there was all the Aaron Rodgers drama. And then it was, okay, is Aaron Rodgers actually going to leave? What's the real situation? Can I be the guy? Can I step in? And you kind of feel like a little bit like a stepchild until he's gone. He leaves. Jordan Love pops in. It's like, here's your chance to shine. What are they missing? Because he comes in, he plays, he has good games, he has bad games. The Packers are another team that's like, what is going on in Green Bay? You know, that's a question.
What's one of the worst positions to be in as a quarterback? Following a Hall of Fame quarterback. What's even worse than that? Following 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Listen to this. For the past 30 years, 30, the Packers fans have had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They had Brett Favre from 92 to 2007 and Aaron Rodgers from 2008 to last season. I mean, I do not envy Jordan Love.
I wouldn't want to follow behind those two. I mean, that's like showing up, like I said, show up to Miami and then you have to play LeBron James's position. Really? I mean, we're not saying Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers is pretty, I mean, he's up there. He sells tickets.
No. He's in the conversation, right? And so if you look at what Jordan Love has accomplished, hats off, right? He's got them in the playoff race. I mean, at the beginning of the season,
that's a big deal right now.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
But last night was a bad deal.
Yeah, but, those things happen in the course of a 17-game season. So I think what's important for his development and for the team is how they rebound from that, right? And the Giants, look, the Giants aren't a bad team.
The Giants, if you get beat by Brent, the Giants are terrible.
They've got talent, bro. They've got talent. Saquon Barkley's one of the best running backs in the league, right? I mean, so
he's good, but they are terrible as a team.
Yeah, as a team. But dude, this is the NFL, man. This is the NFL. These guys get paid money to win games, right? They're going to come out every day, and if you don't give it your best and you don't bring it at your all, you're going to get beat. I don't care what their record is.
Yeah, but I'm from Jersey, grew up in Jersey, lived in New York. I love watching the Giants, love watching the Knicks, love watching the Jets, but they're terrible. As an organization for history, yeah, Giants fans, the G-Man, they're not going anywhere. Jets, Jets, it's great. But the thing is, the organization this year, last year, year before, it's terrible. They have massive problems. Daniel Jones, obviously, he goes, gets all this money. Saquon Barkley's on the back burner. He's a good running back, lots of injuries. He's almost becoming kind of like Rashad Jennings at this point. Like, you're there, okay, and I like Rashad Jennings. Another, roommate of mine was in my class, at school, at Pitt, another conversation, which we'll get into. Probably bring him on the show will be awesome. But, when I look at the Giants right now, they're terrible. I'm not betting on them. And the Packers to get beat by the Giants,
it's a bad
before
loss.
You go into playoff conversation and the playoff picture, even if you had backups in, I got to tell you, Brent, that's a problem. Let's move
It's
to
a
Trevor
bad
Lawrence.
loss. Before we get to Trevor Lawrence, it's a bad loss. But I got to tell you this, man. The ceiling for the Packers this year was like 4 wins to me.
Fair enough.
So the fact that they're in the conversation, look, that's what they can build on as a team, and hopefully Jordan Love can get that experience and continue to get better.
Look, Trevor Lawrence, when I talk about Trevor Lawrence, the reason why we're talking about him today is because I appreciate him as a player, and I want to bring this up because he came back so fast from an ankle injury, right? He was trying to come back because they wanted to get home field advantage. They wanted to start getting some wins back under their belt. But the guy, I hate to say this, there's no motivation. I mean, when I watch him, I'm like, I like watching him. I don't go, I'm going to go buy his jersey. If it wasn't for the fact that this man, I think I have a picture to pull up. Let me pull up and freaking see if I don't have one. Sorry. I pressed the wrong screen here. I apologize. Here's the problem I got. If Trevor Lawrence was actually motivating, he's 6'6" or whatever the hell, 6'5". He can motivate a lot of people if he wants to. The Jaguars are that team where they have great players also. A great talent, Ridley, Etienne at the running back position. They got some power. But the problem is, I feel when you hit Jacksonville, you're like, okay, it's an expansion team. Like, I feel so unmotivated by Trevor Lawrence. I hate to say that. I love watching him as a player. I would watch him anytime. I love watching his gameplay. This is no disrespect to Trevor Lawrence, but I'm not motivated to watch him, to put my mouthpiece in. I need more motivation.
Yeah. By the way, they were an expansion team 30 years ago. So that might not be considered an expansion team anymore.
I know.
But look, Trevor Lawrence, he was a great college quarterback, and, he doesn't strike me. You're right. Now, you've been in the locker room. You've been around the quarterbacks and these guys, and I think that there's something about that guy that's fiery and motivates. I mean, look at Will Levis last night. I mean, doesn't that guy got me out of the couch and wanted to run through a wall for him. I mean, that's not Trevor Lawrence. Does that mean he's not a good football player? Does that mean they won't win a Super Bowl with him? No, it doesn't. But, he is tough as nails, bro. And that's,
to come back from an injury so fast, I'll give you that.
Dude, he's never missed a lot of games. Like, when he gets hurt, he's back the next week. I mean, he is tough. He understands they got 17 games in a season, and he plows through them whether he
doesn't miss games. The man, there's no way. Okay, I had a high ankle sprain against Nebraska. When you get a high ankle sprain, you are not playing next week unless you have a shot provided by your team. I promise you, you can't even stand on your foot. Yeah. When
if I get a high ankle sprain, I'm in a wheelchair for 2 weeks.
Brent is in a wheelchair with a high ankle sprain, and Trevor Lawrence is playing an NFL football game, diving for first downs. I mean, that's the difference right now between super bad character and Trevor Lawrence. But then we got to move on. Look, I love Trevor Lawrence. Need more motivation. Put my mouthpiece in and put my cleats on. Let's move on. Listen. NIL rules. Brent, you brought this up. This is important. They're making changes for college football to get paid. Obviously, Brent, founder of My NIL Pay, won't forget that. Thanks for having him as a co-host, but owns a massive platform. He understands this better than most people, probably better than anyone. College players can be paid now, but the problem that we have, Brent, and you can explain it if I say this incorrectly, not trying to do it on purpose. The universities, if I'm correct, alumni, however you want to spin it, they're trying to take over the opportunity to pay college players themselves, not having other people pay. They want to fund it, which can cause a lot of confusion, a lot of problems, almost like a free agency trade situation, which we'll get to right now with the portal.
Yeah, so the way that it exists today, NIL is the ability for, college athletes to get paid. And the idea was sponsorship deals, shoe deals and your local pizza place and that type of stuff, right? What it's become is groups of, university boosters and donors have created these things called collectives to pay the players. What was proposed last Tuesday by the NCAA President Baker was that these D1 schools, now keep that in mind, D1 only, not D2, not D3, can do deals directly with athletes. So now the schools can take out of their endowments and their budgets and their fundraising and pay the players directly. So what they propose is there'll be like a new subdivision of the Division One, and if you're going to pay your players, you're going to be in that, but you have to commit to so many dollars. It's incredibly confusing.
And you said collectives.
The next day he was interviewed, he started to walk the whole thing back. And even more recently, as I think earlier this week, he said, well, I'm just trying to pressure Congress to do something. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with this, but the bottom line is it's going to be more and more accessible for the players to get paid. And by the way, they should get paid. They don't get access to the TV money. The only money they get is from sponsorships and from boosters and donors. The university, dude, there's a $2 billion TV
But you said
contract.
collectives. You said collectives, which is basically alumni, people at the university, people that have the big money at the school that can say, hey, I want to get this player on my team. How do we get him? Right. Money, cash money. And that's why a lot of people are going, this is going to get so weird. And we're going to talk about Deion Sanders in another clip, another segment, but he's done this in a way where he said, hey, jump in the transfer portal, which we'll get to in a second, come to my school, and now he's like, let's get some money in Colorado because we need this, right? We need a lineman. We need a defensive player. We need a receiver. Get the money from the collectives and go get your player, which is almost, look, I love the opportunity to make money. I think the players should all make money, but I just think it's absolutely nuts that it's almost like an ATM. This is really like an ATM. I know he says it's not, but it is. Because how do we get this guy? Go to your ATM, get some money, buy this quarterback, buy this running back. That's going to be a lot of confusing for players, parents, because you might commit to Clemson. You might commit to Notre Dame. And then Penn State says, I'll give you $100,000. You're like, the hell with you. I'm going here. I'm getting paid right now. My family gets a new car. I mean, they're looking at this. I think this could be something that could spiral out of control.
Did you just give a Blue Chips reference when Nick Nolte said, hey, Happy, go to the cash machine and buy a middle linebacker? Now, if your listeners haven't watched Blue Chips, go watch this, stream this movie. It's from 1994, Shaq, Nick Nolte, Penny Hardaway. It's a great movie.
Yeah, but these guys are getting paid, Brent. They're getting paid.
They were getting paid in that movie.
Right now, if you're watching this, you can comment in the chat. A lot of people that are watching this right now, if you're in the live, comment in the chat so I know where you're from or that you're here. We're expanding the show. Love having you here as we get going to do all the PR and stuff. But realistically, I'm confused about being paid in college because the money's not your stipend, your $1,500. I was getting paid every month by Pitt. But we're not talking, I wasn't getting $100,000 a semester by someone else. So, at the end of the day, Brent, we'll move on to the transfer portal. It's a big conversation we have to go into. But I will tell you this, the NIL rules are changing a lot. But look, the transfer portal, I want to make this very clear for people that don't understand this, okay? When you want to leave a school, and I said this on yesterday's segment live, when I wanted to leave Pitt and I wanted to go to another school, they told me no. It was like, you can't go there. And I'm like, wow. And if you watch the full clip on that, watch yesterday's live, you'll see they controlled my destiny of where I wanted to go. But now with the transfer portal, Brent, and you deal with this a lot because you work with NIL, you see what people are doing to get paid and go different places. With the transfer portal, players can jump in at certain times and be like, okay, I'm in the transfer portal, I'm out of here. Who wants to pick me up? And if you're a top player in college football right now, not only are you going to get picked up, you're going to get offered money. Yeah. This is game-changing for players, for college football, and Deion Sanders this past year opened this up tremendously. It was confusing, but people are jumping ship anytime they want.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. I mean, the NCAA did two major things at the same time, right? So they added the ability to pay players, and then they added the ability to transfer schools. So what did they do? They created, in a way, the beginnings of a free agency. But I want to give you guys an understanding of exactly the impact of this. So the transfer portal opened on December 5th. So last week, right? 538 scholarship players on day one put into the portal. That's an 18% increase from last year, right? 305 from Power 5 programs. A total of 1,100 players jumped in the portal on day one. Look, if you're the backup at Alabama, you could go be the starter at another school and get paid, right? That's like why not go get paid and play, right? So that's kind of what's been created. Hey, look, I think it's an opportunity for student athletes to there's things that happen. You go to a school, Brandon, you experience this yourself, right? Coaching change. I want to go. I should be allowed to go. I didn't come here for this coaching staff. I came for that one. Or you brought in a guy that's, that you like better than me. I should get an opportunity to leave and play.
Yeah, but it's happening so fast.
I think the transfer portal is great for kids. I would want my son to have the opportunity to fulfill his own destiny. I think what happened to you is a crime, and I think the transfer portal has prevented that from happening to other kids.
I mean, look, the truth of the matter is, realistically, players be able to jump ship and go when they are not playing, especially, right? Like, I want to play. Let's just say you're second string, you're not in the game, and you're like, I deserve an opportunity, and that starting quarterback is a freshman and you're a freshman, you're not playing, right? Unless he gets hurt. So I get that. But we have players now, and look, I love the opportunity to transfer, make money. I wish I could have left the proper way and done what I wanted to do. So I love the concept. I love the idea. What I don't know about and what I'm confused about, Brent, right now is this. You have players that are jumping in the transfer portal so they can go play somewhere else, even when they're starting at university that's gave them a scholarship to go play. They're building the morale, all the fan base, all the people, the student section rooting on you, buying your jersey in college football. They build a lot around you. But coaches like Deion Sanders, which is revolutionary, are coming and saying, yeah, I know, you're the starter. You're the starter here at Michigan. You're the starter at Ohio State. And I use these schools because they're bigger schools. USC, call it what you want. But we want you to come here. Come to Colorado and play for me. And then they're like, yeah, I'm going to play for Deion Sanders. I don't care if I started all last season and did well. I'm out of here. And I think
Brandon,
that's a little confusing for a lot of people.
Brandon, what do you think about Ohio State's QB, Kyle McCord? Ohio State was one of the best teams in the country this year, right?
Yep.
Minus a loss to Michigan.
Arguably.
Right? He went in the transfer portal. So the quarterback who started at Ohio State says, I want to go in the transfer portal. I mean, so he's leaving. And he has Marvin Harrison on his team.
That's what I'm talking about. It's confusing, which leads us into one of the best coaches of all time. And people may or may not agree, with that because I don't like Alabama or I hate Alabama or whatever they say. You can say whatever you want. And I'm not an Alabama fan. I mean, I like Alabama's school. I think it's great. They do well. But I didn't grow up raised to be an Alabama fan. And let me see if I can pull this clip up. This coach, Nick Saban, is arguably the best coach, I think a lot of people would say, whether you hate him or not, of all time. Nick Saban has produced tons of great talent into the NFL. And Brent, what I want to say about Nick Saban is very simple. You can love or hate him, but he plays the best player. And I'd like to say he plays the best player. And why I can attest to that, and you know this, and people that watch sports and watch NCAA football, is because Jalen Hurts got benched for Tua, which is brought up a lot, which shows I'm playing the best player. I don't think you're doing it. You're a great quarterback. You've been here for years. You ran our organization. You've barely lost any games. You are going to sit down and take a back seat. I use the word bench because that's what it is. But you're taking a back seat and Tua is stepping in. And that's a very hard thing to do. If they lost that championship game, a lot of people would say, Nick Saban, oh my God, what a bad person. Because they won and Tua brought them back. Listen, that makes him one of the best coaches of all time.
That's right.
And I think Alabama has built, and he didn't go jump into the NFL and try to go back. He said, I'm staying in Alabama, by the way, making boatloads of money. So what the hell? But no, the guy's that good.
Yeah. So now you're going to get some leadership tips from Mr. Superbad right now. So
if you guys are just watching this right now, he looks like Superbad. He's the co-host of the show. Thanks, Brent.
So I think it's important if you watch Nick Saban and what greatness looks like and why it's great. If you go back and look at Howard Stern, right, when he started in the 80s, Is he the same Howard Stern today? No, he's not. No one would know who he was if he didn't evolve and grow and adapt. Right. And that's what makes him great, and that's why he's as successful as he is. The same thing with Nick Saban. Nick Saban has, along the way, continued to grow and adapt and learn, and that is what has made him great. And the thing that I noticed personally recently was when this NIL stuff started, he was so anti it. And why was he anti it? Because he had dominated the previous system for 25 years. So why would you want change? And there's a lot of coaches, Jim Boeheim and others, that are continue to complain about it, right? But what
about the money? It's almost like a free
agency
for coaches.
Hold on. What did Saban? It's important what Saban did. Saban didn't just grouch and said, I didn't get my way. No, he went out and decided to lead the charge. I was in D.C. on Capitol Hill when Saban was there, right? He was there on Capitol Hill meeting with Congress and with senators and representatives, trying to do the right thing, trying to advance. So, man, that just tells me this guy is great. He knows how to look at a situation, and he knows how to – you have to mature over time. You got to change your ways. If you stay the same – you just won't be great. And he's
do you know how much love this guy gets, especially in Alabama? Outside of Alabama, all these other rival schools, they probably hate him, but the truth is the guy's that good. But I sponsored a golf tournament in Alabama a few years ago. Do you know that there was a raffle at the end, and people were like, yeah, that's nice, but I want that Nick Saban signed football. I'm like, that's a football. Like, legit, like, take your football. I don't understand autographs. We can talk. You can sign whatever you want. What does it mean? It's a pen. Hey, Nick Saban. That makes you think that you have something great. Like you have Nick Saban's name on a football.
I'll be passing out McLovin signatures after the show.
That's good. All right. I got to get one of those for sure from behind me on the set. But let's go on here. Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh. Look, obviously, caught the team red-handed through this whole situation, saying he's spying on teams, he's stealing
doing what?
Signs.
Caught doing what? Going to a football game? What did he get caught doing? Going and watching a football game? Buying a ticket and filming it with your
football. He got caught trying to be the best coach in football. And, at the end of the day, I can't hate on the man. The man's been there for a while. And people are like, listen, you're so good. Go back, or go to the NFL. You're the man. You can do. But, at the end of the day, this is what shows you where the world is going. A few weeks ago, he's suspended. What is it, 5 games, 3 games, whatever. He's suspended, and people are like, oh, okay, he's a bad guy or he shouldn't be there anymore. And all of a sudden, people are like, is he going to get fired? Are they going to do this? Instead, it's the flip. They want him even more. They're like, listen, we want to, we want to offer you a much bigger contract. But what they said was, if we give you this contract to come, stay here with Michigan, we don't want you to engage in any conversations with the NFL, which is crazy because you would think as an all-star coach, next step is the NFL. Even if you've been there before, you come back, you want to get back to the NFL. People like Nick Saban, people like Jim Harbaugh are happy right where they are in college football.
They like, look, we talked about this, I think, on my first show, right? And I told you I thought the NCAA selection committee was after them. They do not want Michigan to win the national championship, right? That is the last thing that they want because of all this talk, right? And I think they're going to continue to come after Harbaugh and give him a hard time. So as a Michigan fan, I don't want Harbaugh to go anywhere. As a Jim Harbaugh, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I get out of here right now because they're just going to continue. There's nothing you're ever going to do. You're going to win. They're going to say you cheated. It's just the same thing with Bill Belichick, right? So if I'm Harbaugh, I would probably go to the pros and get out of here. Because
where would he go? What team, what if he could, in theory, go to the team like the Patriots? I mean, what if he gets into the NFL and he goes, hey, Bill Belichick, you've been here for a long time, been so successful, and he takes over a franchise like that. He can't go to the NFL and just go coach for a team that's not so good. He'd have to jump in there and be the event like the Jets, right? Come back and say, this season, we're going to have Aaron Rodgers back or whatever they do. and take over that franchise. That's really his only move that makes sense, because why would he go there and just kind of be mediocre?
He would go somewhere he was loved. He'd either go out to California, right, where he's been before, or he'd go to Chicago. I could see Chicago hiring him, right? Chicago, they love him there. He was an awesome quarterback for them, right? So, but I just think if I'm Jim Harbaugh, wouldn't you, Brandon? I mean, look, if you're in a toxic situation where everyone's after you, and I'm not talking about Michigan. Michigan loves him. I'm talking about the NCAA and the fans and everyone hating on him when he wins. Right? Why be a part of that if you don't have to?
You think they're
He's
hating
gonna
on
make
his wins
money
too?
no matter what he does.
You think they're hating on his wins too?
I think they're going to continue. I think if he wins the national championship, it's going to be you cheated, blah, 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 blah. If he wins next year, you cheated, you're a cheater, right? I would just get out of here if I were him. And that hurts me because I love him at Michigan. But if I were him personally, I'd be gone and I'd go coach in the pros where nobody cares that, somebody went and watched a football game and recorded it on their iPhone.
Enough of Jim Harbaugh, but you know what? College has changed. College football has changed drastically. And the transfer portal, coaches coming in, the amount of money you can make as a player, the amount of money you can make as a coach, it's opened up a whole new world. Influencers, all kind of things are happening. But we moved on to, this is a section now on our show, guys, that you can call in hopefully next week, where it says here, call on. If you look to the left-hand side of the screen, you can see call in. This is where we'll have a number up. You can call in. You can give your thoughts on the show. You can give your thoughts on what we're talking about. You can go back and talk beginning of the list. You can also fire back at Brent or myself. A lot of people are doing that. And I'm looking at the messages on all social media, and I said this yesterday. People are giving their thoughts on Brent, saying, why did you say that this makes sense? That coach this, that coach that. People are saying a lot of messages. This is the point in time where you'll be able to call in next week. We're going to start bringing on guests, interviews. A lot of people that are tuning in right now are people that we solely invited to kind of enjoy this until we expand. Brent, I know you'll like taking those shots from people watching you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for it. But I want to say this before we wrap up today. This is my fifth episode on the show as the co-host, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but every day I wear a different T-shirt. And because I'm in NIL, I get lots of different college shirts. And so every day, today I'm wearing the Toledo Rockets Glass Bowl shirt, right? This was given to me many years ago, and you can tell because it's a little tight. It's maybe 60 pounds ago for me. So I'm trying to be Brandon Mason today with a little sort of tight-fitting muscle shirt.
If you're watching this right now, hit the like button on this video for Brent's T-shirt, please. We just waited the like button. But here's what I'm saying.
You send me a T-shirt, you send me a jersey, I'll wear it on the air, and I'll shout it out. Reach out to Brandon or I. We'll make sure you get it here. You send it, I'll wear it. That's what I'm doing. I'm wearing all the shirts people have given me, and I'll give them shout-outs along the way. College sports, concerts, you got it, I'll wear it.
And I have a lot of stuff. Speaking of that, and I like that. I have a lot of people that are sending me stuff now for the show to come on and talk, but shirts are coming in from places like Zara. I got a bobblehead that I always make fun of. They gave me this bobblehead. They used a picture when I was in I want to say I was literally in New York, and I had no sun. It was like February. So I went through December, January, February with no sun, and I was literally looked like I was sick. I needed sun. You know what? Brent, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like your bobblehead. So at the end of the day, if I can pull it up, it looks like
premonition, Brandon. That was a premonition.
Has no tan. Anyway, I pulled it up again before, but these people are
Brandon,
sending stuff. They send AirPods,
the only jersey I want, Brandon, is my Brandon Mason jersey. I want that in the mail. Where's that? I'm wearing that one of these days. Let's go.
That's what you need. Just to get made fun of on damn national TV. Listen. I'm so excited to have you guys. Brent, thanks for tuning in again to our 5th live show. Every time we upload stuff, literally people are just coming on, learning about the show, which is great. And then it uploads to YouTube, and then it starts running. So really excited about that. And hopefully as people start calling in and getting more active, we'll start having on here 5,200 people plus engaging in conversation. Brent, do you have anything else to add before we let you go?
I'm good. Thanks, man. Let's be back at it tomorrow and look forward to seeing everyone again.
You got it, Brent. Thanks for having you on, buddy. Guys, listen, thanks for watching the show. If it's your first time watching, remember to like and subscribe. Hit the like button on the video. We really appreciate you. And we also will keep in mind, tomorrow we'll be on at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 10:30-ish. And a lot of people have been saying, you got to expand to 11. We'll probably do that, run 10 to 11. Thanks for watching. Until next time.